up? What's up? Sunday, dude, I tell you what, man. Sunday had like the most epic return back into the chat. He was like, I don't know, I'm thinking I'm back. Yanni, what's up? I see you on YouTube. Still haven't figured out the whole chat thing, but you can chat on there. I'll see it. Sunday is like, hey, man, I think I'm back. And like, we went from 29 to 35, like 17 minutes later. It was fucking awesome. What a great return. Yeah, I haven't streamed in a while. I get that I haven't streamed in a while. I apologize. As you guys know, I'm working on quite a bit. My time is dedicated in many ways to golfing right now. And like usual family stuff, but I figured it's worth getting on and talk about this stuff. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 charts to talk about. So yeah, perfect return, getting the gang back together. We're going to rip through these. 11 reasons is short. Parish? I don't know. We're about to find out. I will say this is pretty ominous. Where I'm starting here, this is usually a topping line on a trend. And people think that's like, oh man, it's over. It really isn't. In fact, it'd be quite productive if we did turn down. But nobody wants to talk about that, Parish. Come on now, baby. Let's go. Here we go. All right. 11 reasons to be short. I don't know about that. The S&P actually looks pretty good. So, I know everyone's like, oh, it's gone down a lot. Yeah, right into support, dude. Just bearish at support. People change. People stay the same. Anyway, I went on my little tweet tirade last week because, I don't know, man. Every now and again, I just get pissed off. Got a bunch of pretenders who come out and are like, oh, I did it. No, you didn't. We have been talking about the same shit forever on the areas that mattered forever. There were a million places to get long to catch any of these moves. So anyway, it bothers me at times. But this capping line is worth noting. There's two ways this can play out. And as you guys know, I like to give you multiple potential outcomes. And you can make your own choice. And you go, well, Jared, that's kind of hedging or bullshit or whatever. Yeah, maybe. I don't really give a shit. I don't do this for you to be like, he fucking nailed every move. But one of these two things probably caps price. Either the yellow channel or the orange. This being that like topping resistance line. Or the top side of this channel, which is like very well formed. This is a weekly chart, right? So you have a ton of reasons why this could stop. Here, 1, here, 2, here, 3. So you have 1, 2, 3 reasons to like calm down. Okay. Like it's great. This is exactly what we want to have happen. And don't mistake me, right? For the same reasons why when we were here and I was telling you guys like, you know, we're at a place where it probably is going to get resistance. As long as we hold these areas, it's very productive. And if you got on Twitter during that time, at any point we were at either one of these arrows, you had the clowns coming out with their clown shoes and everything saying, this is it. We're going back down to 17K. You know, Capo was sending out PDFs about how we were going to 3,000 or whatever the fuck he said. That was stupid. Like, people that are just pretenders, right? They don't know what they're doing. Okay. That's fine. But like, you just need to take this stuff simply. This is a trend reversal. By the way, guys, when literally you go back to November of 21 and we talked about the reversal of a trend from here. The thing that changes the reversal the other day is a common reversal pattern, like a falling wedge. A falling wedge is a standard reversal pattern. That's what happened here. Lower low, but it was condensing, broke out of it, formed a higher low, higher high, higher low, equal high, equal low, higher high. It's just a new trend. So when I say we're running up against things that would suggest that price probably cools off for a while, I mean exactly that. Because what happens next from here, I think at this point, if you're still watching me, if you're still in crypto, if you're not poor, if you didn't give up and just go back to your wage cuck and stop trying, you understand that conditions are not the same as they used to be, right? As they used to be during the SBF, make number go up, and like you just break through resistance and you see some stupid move that just go crazy high. That's not going to happen. And we don't want it to happen. Okay. So Perish the Patient says 11 reasons to short. Like maybe if you want to short, but like, let's look at the information we have in front of us. Oh, baby, don't get me started on Link. I told you, I put $10,000 in a Link under $6. I'm going to turn that 10 grand into $1 million before this next cycle's done. And I will document it. But all we want to have happen here, literally, all we want to have happen is to build, okay? These areas of inefficiency are what's being filled in right now. I don't remember the exact time I talked about it, but if you go back here, let's this is actually going to be perfect. Okay? Let's take you back on a little trip. We're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship, flying through the sky, little Einsteins. Yeah, all you parents out there, I got you. If you looked at this chart at this time and looked at the VPVR, you would say, holy shit. And I did probably 50 fucking times. This is an area of inefficiency. Whenever you have an area of inefficiency on a chart, the charts don't like that and they want to fill it in because it's an area where there was no participation and it makes it rife for retesting. We talked about this constantly. I talked about it here in July of 21 when we called that bottom. I was like, it could rebound from here, and we caught it, and it could go all the way back down to 12,000 because this area of inefficiency is horrible. You just don't want it on a chart. You go, Jared, why are you talking about this? We just talked about shorting. Well, because I'm telling you exactly why this happened, and we fucking talked about it then. I have like at least 1,000 hours of me streaming recorded on a hard drive. I could go back and pull them all up. Granted, the camera wasn't as fly as this one is, but when you look at this chart, you go, Jared, why is all this shit over here? Well, fair enough. We'll pull it off. If this is the only chart that I showed you, you'd go, well, Jared, what's this shit on the right? You go, well, it's the volume traded at a certain price. A ton of it obviously down here. I'm not logged in, so I can't ban that dude. But if anybody's a moderator and they want to, go for it. This entire area is an inefficiency that the market does not like, and it just needed to be filled in. Okay, let's go through at 10x what happened. Where did price go during all of that? It's weird how it filled in. Like the areas of inefficiency. Oh, kind of built out a little ledge here over on the right. Go up, create a higher low, fill in the, look, it's changing, guys. It's changing. Continue filling it in. And here we are. Okay. The area of inefficiency had to be dealt with. Had to be dealt with. And so it was. So, why is that relevant? Why am I bringing it up? Well, because this. What is most beneficial for us moving forward is a steady trend. A steady trend. That is what we want. So we don't get inefficiencies on a chart like we had. Is this making sense? Is this making sense? Because I hope it does. What we want to have happen is this. Okay? That's what we want to have happen. You want to know why? Because this is going to be a gold-plated buy. I tweeted it. I tweeted the whole fucking setup. I think Dan was the only person to respond to it. But that is going to correspond with a retest of this area. And you know what? If we shouldn't even get another chance, if I'm honest. If I'm honest, we shouldn't even get another chance. But if you got a resistance area that was thrice tested, broken out, and then retested from the top, and it aligns with the Bitcoin versus SPX R to S, that is a load the boat long. That's when I was talking to Sar in the chat. What would you do with 200 grand right now? I would buy this. I would buy this pullback. Yes. 100%. Sunday, correct. And it is about to catch bid. We'll talk about that in 5 slides. So we want the trend. We want the trend. We just want it to move higher, put in a higher high, make a higher low. Because believe it or not, guys, the way that this changes is a steady march higher. This, although it was fun, and don't get me wrong, I made a lot of money. A lot of you did too. This is fun. It always is going to end like this. Okay? It's always going to come back down and retest because this emotional. I mean, there was a fucking show on Twitch called Up Only. Okay? Because it only went up. It was just stupid. Elon, Sam, FTX, CZ, all these people. All we want is a trend, higher highs and higher lows, and things are still productive. This chart continues to be absolute cheat codes. You should be vastly more rich today than you were before. I even gave you this as a higher low buy not long ago. I gave you this as being potential resistance last week. Okay? These are all things that are very easy to manage on your own. All very easy to manage on your own. Am I putting any more cash or capital into crypto right now? Fuck no. Absolutely not. No, but I do have a couple $100 grand on the sidelines that if it comes to it, I will buy that higher low. I will buy that higher low, that retest, if you will. I think, and maybe you guys disagree with me on this, but I kind of feel like this is the trade right now. Because let's look at the chart. Move these so they're roughly in the same place. Yeah. No, that's not even fucking close. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Roughly in the same place. Bitcoin is here right now. Bitcoin's at 2,500 right now. So what happens? Do you guys have are you falling out of love with Ethereum? Don't let it tax you. He'll lose his fucking mind. Because look, this is the same line. And it is lagging tremendously at this moment. Tremendously. And we got the small breakout. Last week, we got the small breakout. A lot of wood to chop, though. I don't think this becomes like an easy lay down trade, and so we're past here. But it will be, I'm sorry, not there. There. When we get past 2100, it's going to teleport to 25. And to Sunday's point about SPX catching a bid can help this chart while BTC is flat-ish too. Ethereum playing catch-up during that same period would also make sense, which is typically how this stuff works. Like you move up one way, move sideways, allow the other instrument to catch back up. Because let's talk about what Bitcoin is again, right? It's the high beta indicator. When risk is on, Bitcoin is one of the ones that moves. It's why the NASDAQ chart, which we're about to get to, looks better than the S&P chart. See the relative strength? See the relative strength? It's about risk. Risk is on a little bit right now. They think? So I think that there's an easy trade coming in Ethereum. I haven't really thought my way through it yet, but you know, this area needs to be contended with, and kind of rectified, but there's going to be a catch-up trade that is absurd. That's just going to be, I mean, you probably could book 1,800 to 2,500 before the end of the year, in my opinion. But there's better ways to play it. It's just shocking because Ethereum led for so long. Ethereum led Bitcoin for so long. I mean, look at the ETH BTC chart. Like, okay, I got into crypto in October, trading crypto in October of 2019. Right here. And it has led pretty much the entire time that I've been in crypto. So it's weird to just see it like just straight up ankle grabbing. You know what I mean? Straight up ankle grabbing. It's hard to see. I find it hard to believe it goes away. I still think that the growth comes outside of Bitcoin. Like that's what people get excited about. Eventually you start seeing things on chain that actually matter. It's not just a store of value. Two different cultures come together. We've talked about it ad nauseum. I find it hard to believe there isn't a catch-up trade to be had here. I find it hard to believe there isn't a catch-up trade to be had here. I think there is. And the reason why is as much about this chart as it is the USD chart, because like, what's the alternative? You could also look at this trade like this. Okay. It's a retest of the 50-month moving average. Yeah, I agree, Sunday, but like so like here's how I feel this goes. There's two scenarios. So, well, let me do it this way. Just for the sake of clarity. I'll even go as far as to there we go. I'll put it only on months. This is what it looked like, right? When you break through, this turns into support. So, are we saying that we expect, like, I'm not joking, 0.04 Ethereum? Do we expect 0.04 Ethereum? Man, that would not be good. That would not be good. So I'm choosing to view it like this. Okay. This is a monthly chart. And again, I'm trying to make sure that visibility on this stays. Yep. Good. I don't know if this, like, the settings. Yeah, fuck you. I'm with it. I'm hoping I'm viewing this as a double bottom on the monthly. Okay. I mean, the month ends in 2 days. So you could see this being valid in 3 days. 1 day after, right? This could be a classic double bottom pattern. Yeah, no, you're right. If the Bitcoin ETF is approved first, where does that money go first? It's going to go to Bitcoin, just like it does in every cycle, though. So, like, So here's my question for you, Sunday. Do you expect this void to be held? because I would really like it to be. It shows strength. And like I just got done talking about a chart where I needed it to be filled in on Bitcoin versus the US dollar. But when you can hold it open, that's like another indicator. And I've talked about this before, but if you see that gap on a chart, it is indicative of relative strength. So here on Bitcoin, we were talking about this. It needed to be filled in. Just there was too much shit going on. The chart didn't like it. We had to come down here, screw around to even try to get back up into this bigger range. Ethereum never had that problem, if I'm honest. Right? Like Ethereum didn't have as much of the overlap. It did fill in more participants here, but it didn't really have the same problem that Bitcoin had. So, okay. So Sunday's saying, yeah, maybe. I would really strongly prefer it not go down here and get 0.04. But I'm telling you, there is no middle ground. I'll write it in blood. If we continue going south, we're not stopping before 0.04. Ethereum will not stop before 0.04. If we view this as a double bottom, this is like a super easy long. The super easy long is the recapture of 0.053 on a high time frame. You can long that. You can set a stop under here at whatever the low was this past month, 0.051. And that would be an easy ass trade, like an easy trade, because you would have very, very little risk to know if you were wrong. And the high side is a range high test back at 0.08. And you're just not going to see that level of ROI very often. Right? So 0.08, the 50% improvement of Bitcoin versus Ethereum if you get the bottom range test correct. If this is truly saying this is where support steps in. If Sunday is right and we're going to 0.04, we get it again, but it's going to be a long December, and there's reason, you know what I mean? Like it'll be not good. I stepped in my Kermit voice there, but I don't know. It's decision time. It's decision time. If I see a hard recapture, I will long it. I will switch from Bitcoin to Ethereum, and we'll ride. We'll ride. So my counter argument to that, Sunday, is why would they not? If once the Bitcoin ETF is approved, which we all know it's going to be at some point soon, when the BTC ETF is approved, why would Ethereum not immediately follow? You know what I mean? Like they have the same classifications from the SEC. They're not, violating whatever past the Howey test, yada, yada, yada. Decentralized enough, doesn't matter. They can get out there and play. Like you're not going to run into any issues. It's not like they're putting fucking bonk in an ETF, right? So I just think it could follow not far behind. Anyway, let's talk about the S&P. Quick reminder for those playing at home, what is the S&P 500? It's the 500 largest companies in the world, with the caveat of that move the most, have the highest beta, the highest volatility. So it's not just the 500 largest, it's the 500 largest with the most beta, which is why it was ridiculous that Tesla was ever not a part of it a while ago, because they were moving shit anyway and had a tremendous amount of volatility. But you can see relative weakness in the S&P versus the NQ right now, and I will point you to this line right here. This was a peak, it was taken out. Here we are lower. Let's take a look at the NQ. Guess what peak has not been challenged yet? Same peak, okay? Relative weakness in the S&P, relative strength in the NQ. That is a risk-on indicator. Risk-on indicator. When you see the NASDAQ leading the S&P, that's a move away from value, a move into beta, a move into people betting on number going up. Okay, that speaks more towards crypto having a good run if risk is presently on, which I think it is. I'm not saying it's going to be forever, but I think it presently is on. This is very, very, very close to being a reversal signal on the S&P. Bottom of the band on price, top of the band on volatility. If you study those conditions at all, you know that that is typically a recipe for reversal. So the S&P is entering a point where it could reverse anyway. And if we go back to what we just talked about, if the S&P starts gaining against Bitcoin, now you're going to start to see this sort of rolling over. It rolls over and voila, you get that pullback in Bitcoin versus the S&P. But it is interesting to see the relative strength of risk assets when it had been not that way for a while, right? S&P was leading. NASDAQ was not. And, this all plays into our crypto thesis, right? All plays into our crypto thesis. I expect we finish the year strong. Dano, what's up? I expect we finish the year strong. I expect the S&P finishes strong. I expect Bitcoin to finish strong. But remember this line. This is the halvening, what's happening, projected to be about April of next year. I don't know if that's changed at all. I haven't checked recently. All depends on hash rate, right? So somewhere around that time, the halvening. What was the last one? May of 20. Yep. Okay. I mean, you know, this is what we're planning for right now. This is what we're playing for right now. I mean, damn, do they look similar. You have to rule out March of 20 here because I don't think March of 20. Yeah. Yeah. It was 2 months after the Black Swan. So like if you, if you were to say, compare these things and this, pretty similar. We're getting the pop now. And this fell off the cliff for COVID, right? If that never happened, which I know is a big like, what? The Joe Biden, what? Then that would just be like a retest and you just had a big sideways base here. I would argue it's more productive now. We're seeing a more productive move now into the next halvening. 24th of April. Okay, I did May 1st, so it's still roughly the same point. May 4th. There we go. Right? So I would fucking love this to roll over and move sideways and just kind of like grind up this trend into the halvening, because it would help provide the fuel for us to break back into this range. The way that I see it is this red line here is like the separator of like the previous high and low of the range to where we are now. And breaking back into it is not necessarily like a foregone conclusion. It can take time. It can take time to actually build up interest, the market conditions, the participants to break into that old range. And it's not going to be like it was, because the overhead supply, while it was there before, it ain't this, man. There's a lot of people that bought at 30, a lot of people that bought at 60, that there's going to be resistance points. But it is setting up for us to have a nicer trend all the way through back to the highs. And then when you see the blow off at some point, and hopefully 2025, 2026, it's here and we see some crazy parabolic move higher. My current high is going to be maybe 120 grand. 130 grand, 110, 105. I don't know. price will stop somewhere up here. Next cycle. And then come back down and retest and do the whole thing again. But it's building out what we need to have happen. Let's talk about everybody's favorite. Oh my God, Link. It's just so fucking good. I mean, how many times have I talked about this? How many times have I talked about Link? It's just unbelievable. This is before, like, so Ataxia did, like, red pill me on this, where he's like, fucking Link is doing things that are going to be really good. So, like, that gave me the FA to be like, all right, I believe it. But you look at this chart and just, it never gave out through all the nonsense. It went down with everybody else, but then just had a long ass sideways base. This is so strong. It's unbelievable. It's so strong. And so for like people that are like selling out right now or reducing their positions, this is not a firm rule. If you look it up, if you look at like technical analysis websites, you probably won't see this stated. This is just more like a general rule of thumb, okay? For as long as it was in the base, you can expect the breakout of the base and trend to be about the same amount of time. Okay. And people are selling now. Yeah, Link Marines, you should fucking love to see it. Link Marines is going to own a fucking island by the time this thing's done. Like, are you kidding? At least this. I'm not saying that this thing is going to just like absolutely crush previous highs. I don't know. Supply is higher than it was. They really got to come through. But do not make the mistake of being like, well, broke out of the range. I got my 40%. I'm out. This is a multi-X move. This is a multi-X move. Now, you should have got under $6 like the rest of us. But if you didn't, then any retest close to 8 is a buy. It's a gold fucking plated buy. It's a buy that, it's so nice. It is so nice. And you even see it here. It is at resistance versus Ethereum right now, but if Sunday is to be believed, we're going to see relative weakness in Ethereum for the time being. That provides more fuel to go up, mega up. And I'd be okay with that, quite frankly. If Link had some catalyst that kept it moving against Ethereum right into a time where like Ethereum is starting to reverse around 0.04, and we got like hella moves from Link into Ethereum, we rotate our bags into Ethereum and we pick it up even more. And then we just find the next thing. But I expect it to be months away. Months away. All right? Months away. It's the best alt in crypto right now. Now, you know who will say it isn't? A lot of people. And what would they say? They'd say Solana. Now, I am not sure about that. I have my hesitations about Solana. Which of these looks better? Because I can take that out. You guys know what I mean by it. I'll leave that one up. You know, in my opinion, those are the same points, okay? It is, Karcher. Dude, that's why I liked it, man. Karcher saying exactly, like, it should be studied. It will be studied. Quite frankly, there will be people that are like, yeah, I saw the Link base in 2022, and I just kept buying the bottom of it, and I just loaded up a massive fucking position, and that's how I became worth $100 million. Because it is exactly out of textbook. It is a consolidating sideways base, and it just looks gorgeous. I do not own a lot of Solana yet. I'm not saying I won't, because this trade When it gets over this obstacle, which is not a small one, when it gets over that obstacle, I'll be interested because it will go. And again, this is one of those things that you can write it down. Jared said it, come back, throw it in my fucking face if I'm wrong. But when it goes over $45, it is going to teleport to 80. 45 to 80. You'll see people out of nowhere. Sam will find a way to tweet from prison. Like they're everyone. Exactly right. Sunday. See, I missed having Sunday around. It's nice when people can just like make the points that I generally make and I don't have to do it. Because he's right. It's what you look for. You look for outperformance. He's saying out of Bitcoin. I'm saying versus Ethereum, usually speaking, but they really don't matter. Yeah. It still is. But here's what I would say. I do not feel compelled to own Solana yet because I think there are issues. Like Sam's in the middle of a trial. He hasn't even really talked about this yet, or at least if he has, I hadn't heard about it, or not enough to make news. Thank God. I didn't hear a lot about his testimony. But I think there's still more to come out. They still got to decide what they're doing with this. Is FTX restarting again? All sorts of things to come out. They own a shitload of Solana. Those things need to be resolved for me because every time, like, even if everyone decided like Solana is the fucking way, that is a ton of overhead supply that is going to be liquidated at the exact moment it is able to be liquidated because people need to get paid. That got ripped off by Sam, right? But you should all be doing exactly this. Do it with me now. Okay? Don't get left behind, you dipshit. Okay? That's the alert that you want to put on that area. Because if you see a breakout from that area, it is going to go from 45 to $80 in probably like, I don't know, a fortnight at most. It's going to be insane. I'm just not so sure that it happens immediately. You know what I mean? See if I can. Last chance, clown shoes train is leaving. That's the wick. Okay, so I did the base, and then I did the wick. And that's why you pay for trading your premium, because you can have alerts that are on there forever. I haven't heard that. I don't know. Was there a similar supply overhead for ETH? I mean, the chart does look similar. Don't get me wrong. But even here, like, I don't see it. I don't see the similarities. But that said, these levels were so crisp and clean, you could see the demand. Like, this is what when I first started streaming, I would talk about. I would talk about how the cleanest lines ever exist on Ethereum, and they always did. If you go to the daily chart, which I'm not going to, it'll fuck everything up. But like these charts in here, or these lines in here after the breakdown in 20, this entire way up was just clean flip after clean flip. There were literally 50 real opportunities to get long on ETH before it went from 450 to 4,500. So like there were like 50 chances for you to get long on Ethereum to catch the ride on a 10x. If you got the worst entry of the 50 that it was screaming in your face for, you still made 10x. And if you were like me and bought a ton under 100, well then you did all right. But it could have go that way. I don't know, man. I am just so jaded about Solana. And like I'm building a product right now. And we're debating launching it on Solana. And quite frankly, the case for building it on Solana is if there is a catch-up trade, we'll all be stupid rich. You know what I mean? And if it goes horribly awry, we could have a great product. It won't matter. So, you know, choose your fighter, I guess. This chart, though, this is the last one I have, by the way. And then we can talk about whatever you guys want, or I can get out of here. But yeah, Solith on Binance is nice. Okay, it is nice. You have this long trend going back to October of 21. October of 21. You have this crazy ass downtrend, and it kicks out of it. It kicked out of it. And now it's starting to set in a higher high, a trend reversal on Solana versus Ethereum. You see the trend reversal on Solana versus Ethereum, it's worth taking note of. So I hope this is one of those things that you guys have on your charts. If you own Solana, you want to see how it's performing versus Ethereum. You want to see how it's performing versus Bitcoin. If you really want to get crazy, you can look at it versus the S&P, but that's kind of fucking stupid at this point. So the relative strength of these majors is what you want to identify. I guess this would be my parting shot. I'm not streaming as much lately, but I'm literally in meetings like 4 days a week now, in addition to still being like a dad and trading and shit. So it's identifying majors. Now, I have a bunch of boys right now who are trading mids and lows, and they're fucking cleaning up. So like things are good in alt land, but you're not going to get that from me, not on this stream anyway. So if you want to be out there hunting, there are ways to hunt. And do well right now. But I'm not worried about that. I want to trade majors. I want to trade it well. And the way you do that is by identifying relative strength. It's what Sunday said a little bit ago. Outperform BTC, and that's what you look for. You look for the things that have enough liquidity and are showing relative strength. And like the liquidity part, you gotta know. Yeah. My advice for guys who are on their first or second cycle, don't marry your bags from last cycle. Agreed. It's hard, though. It's hard. It's hard. I get it. Good advice from Sunday. Do I think there's anything I haven't spoken about? Oh, yeah. This one. If you have any requests, drop them in now. Otherwise, I'm getting out of here when I'm done. Okay. How fucking gorgeous was this play? Yeah. Yes. 100%. Remember when I streamed on like this day? Oh yeah, Doge, good call. I always forget about Doge, man. I never played Doge well. I played Doge well once early on FTX, and all that money's gone. So, this was one of my areas where I was like, it could stop here. And it hasn't. So I would say that my target now, unless we see like a swift rejection this week on BTC dominance, meaning that it surrenders back under this 53 point whatever, 53.2. I expect it to go to at least 58 in relatively short order, which again kind of speaks to Sunday's point. And it's going to get worse for Ethereum before it gets better. The nice thing about that is, just going back real quick before I get into your guys' questions, like this can be my theory, and I don't really care. Like, I hope it does this, but like my money's not on it. I'm looking for a reversal signal. It's one of those deals. It's the difference between me and most people who trade. Is I have this area and I want it to do well, but I'm not buying the area. I'm buying the reaction in the area. And guess what? If there's no reaction in the area, then I do not give a fuck. So if I don't see this swift recovery into this in the next, relatively soon future, then it's going lower. And I don't care. Not rotating it anyway. Link Marine says, would you swap BTC for alts 50% wait a little bit? Yeah, so that goes back in the same conversation. Like, I would see here and go, okay, I expect this to reverse now, but if it doesn't reject, then no. Just because I put a line on a chart doesn't mean that that line's sacred. You got to see the reaction at the area. Okay? All right, let's go talk about Doge. Dogemon? Doge. All right. Hey, it's right on my line that I drew forever ago. Nice. Huh. This line. It's literally the last time I looked at this chart. It was the same price. That's hilarious. I'm sure that it's going to matter more. Excuse me. I'm sure it's going to matter more denominated in Bitcoin or Ethereum. But it's nice to see that this area held. Okay. It's nice to see this area held, which was that 0.057. And it's trying to emerge, right? Trying to come out of it. We'll drop this in here to give ourselves some additional clarity. Okay. Came out of a downtrend. Fine. Coming out of a downtrend, a lot of people think, oh, fuck, it came out of the downtrend. I have got to get in now. That is not true. That's how you go broke. Okay. If it turns down, all I want to see is it hold that area, that 0.063. If it holds the 0.063, that could be indicative of a trend shift. You got a downside break. A break out of the down slope. So you broke out of it, form a higher low. You long here, your stops go here, and then you can ride that shit to Valhalla. It's like just standard patient positional management. Okay. Broke out from the downtrend, formed a higher low, usually at the point in which it broke out. And then if it takes out the highs, then you can set your stop at the area that it was defended. And you can ride this thing back up to, $1, whatever the hell it ended up at last time. 50, 70, 57 on the close, 74 on a wick. So it's not a bad play. I mean, Doge is always a good play because there's liquidity. I think it's the part that, again, people like, I think the part that people screw up is taking into account liquidity. What makes Doge different is that you can get in with a fucking huge amount of money and not move the chart. Okay. You can get in with an enormous amount of money and not move the chart. There are very few alts that is true. People who have been in this game a lot longer than me, Gainsey, when he was not big enough to be too cool for me. Yeah, 69 cents on SNL. Fuck, I forgot about that. Gainsey, some of the other guys, Secrets of Crypto. Some of the boys that have been in this for at least one cycle more than me, maybe 2 cycles more than me, will always tell you that alt season, true alt season, begins with Doge. True alt season begins with Doge. So, again, it's a piece of context that can help you as we go along. It broke out from the downtrend. That's sweet. Do I feel compelled to get a position right now? I do not. This is how I would get a position if I decided I wanted to do that. And even so, there will probably be places along the way that I feel like make more sense to get in. Let's check the big one. Always good to throw in that extra letter in there. Fuck off. Good Lord. Yikes. Yeah, see, like... Yeah, dude. Would fucking better stop here. Huh. It better stop here. Or that's where you're going to get it. At literally half the present price versus Bitcoin. So I don't see a ton here that I love. You could argue this is starting. Yeah, all right. You could argue this is starting a bull divergence down here, which it might. It might. It did before here, and it worked. And that's where you saw the strength against it back a year ago. Holy fuck. Look at that, dude. It was literally this fucking week. It was this week a year ago. That's hilarious. And it did come off of a similar shape, right? I'll see you, boy. Sunday, always great. Pop in, give us his advice. Good dude. He's back. That's how you know things are about to get good. Whenever Sunday shows up, things are good. So you could play this very conservatively here. There. You recapture 0.021 or 214 sats. And you could long there. Put a stop under. That'd be pretty safe. That'd be pretty safe. All right, what were the other ones? No. Metis. I'm skipping over you on purpose, Dan. I'll get back to it. Yeah, that's fine. Similar idea here. Recapture 16. It's worth it. I guess I can go to daily on this because it probably, yeah. All right. By the way, look, the example that I was just speaking of about when and where shit will go after it breaks out happened. Little fake down below, fuck with people for a while, recapture, boom. That's typically how it works. Every time. Doesn't matter what it is. People step in, defend the area that they used strength on to break out, and then keep going. So that would have been fuck, I don't want to get in. Oh, going back down to zero. Oh, here's strength again. And you could buy here, set your stops under $11 and be good to go. As for like the higher time frame move for me, I would want to see it get north of that 16. There's no Metis ETH. Period. Yikes. You could also wait for that. You could wait for this ABC long. Double bottom here, take out there versus Bitcoin. Up to you. I haven't I have not found a bunch of shit that I really like in the AI coins yet. I don't understand their utility and how they're planning on taking advantage of it. Like, yeah, I just haven't. So maybe someone just needs to like red pill me on the FA of it. I know AI is big. I don't understand how that is going to be functionally implemented on the blockchain. So call me old school. It's fun. It's trendy. It's a cool thing to play. But until I see more practical use cases, I'm skeptical. Just like anything else. You can always get into CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko or whatever and just search by category and see like who is doing well. But yeah, I don't see it yet. Yeah. AI, what does that mean? You guys just like plugged in the fucking API to, OpenAI and it sends you messages or some shit? I don't know. Look at this motherfucker though. And just truly impressive. Will forever, assuming this holds, just be something that annoys me. I spent so much money on so much dumb shit on Binance Smart Chain when this was like under $40. Literally, I should own countries with the amount of money that I had on there. Oh my God, Dan, what the fuck, man? Why are you trying to bring the room down, man? We're having a good time. That long that I talked about last time I streamed happened. Nice. Not enough for me to care, but you know, it at least stepped in where it should have. That whole like $6 range held good. You know, this is all I'll say about Juno. That's productive. Okay, it's productive. I don't know what happens with Juno. Obviously, I have bet fairly hard on the team to figure out themselves and provide value to the infrastructure. I mean, this is grossly undervalued. Grossly undervalued. If for anything else, if they didn't do a fucking thing, they're just well connected between the different hubs in the cosmos where this is grossly undervalued. Yeah, 21 million. Get the fuck out of here, man. Just, dude. Show me $1.62. I'll be impressed. But this is a trend reversal. Sunday has always said, and rightfully so, really? Doesn't exist? It's fucking annoying. Will it work? Yeah. So Sunday has always said, and rightfully so, like you need to see this flip around. And like it hadn't, I mean, look at this, dude. It was like, I remember this day vividly in like the summer of 22. And it's been down only ever since. And so like he had been saying that he was just taking his rewards every time and selling them straight into Atom, which makes sense. And then you get the rewards from Atom, you can sell them straight into Juno, which makes sense when it actually sees relative strength. So the key for Juno is not Ethereum. The key is Atom. So you have to, it's always like that. Okay. The things on Binance Smart Chain forever were relative to BNB. Okay. So it should be the same thing. Let's talk about Atomith. That's nice. That is not. Yeah, I mean, it's right down at the lows. That's fine. Just don't go any lower. Don't make new lows versus Bitcoin. That's pretty much it. But yeah, I'm not giving up on the ecosystem as long as they figure out their fucking petty infighting. What the hell happened there? That's lame. As long as they can get their shit together and not, you know, get on Twitter and like just talk shit about each other constantly, then I am bullish on their ability to send us back up to here at some point. And you want to see Juno outperform Atom. But again, this is like the if when you're looking at alts, you're not looking at this relative strength, then I don't know, man. You're one of the ones donating. You are one of the ones donating. AVAX. Trying. I'll be damned if it's not trying. Right into that support zone. It's probably a good play. If I'm being real, AVAX probably is a play at some point. Yeah, I did. Just that it's lagging versus the NQ, which means that risk on is on. So I covered it all at the beginning. Anyway, I got to get out of here. It's been an hour. I was planning on doing 45 minutes. I got shit I got to do. But jump into the Telegram, jump into the Discord. Good to get on with you guys, as always. And just keep your head on a swivel out there. If you have any questions, hit me up. A lot of people do. Some people don't. But yeah, thank you guys. It's always fun being back out with the family. You know, I'm building shit right now, so I'm a little distracted, but I'll try to stream more often. I'm going to do a stream with a taxi soon. We'll talk about some other alts. Some of the shit he's working on. Still love the outro, man. Just gets me every time. Ciao, Flashbanger, Coin Shark, Dano, Link Marines. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Tell your friends who want to get rich. Come check me out. We're going to document the entire bull cycle. We're going to document the entire bull cycle. People are going to be like, fuck. Had I just been there. So it goes. Remember, it's the hi-hat. The face.